Hi friends, I'm just at my sister's place at the moment. I've woken up in my jammies and I thought I'd give a little update on what has happened lately. Richard is currently in the UK. He is staying with family friends in Redbourne and he's going back to St Albans today, which is where he grew up, and he's having an English breakfast out of Wetherspoons with the sausages and baked beans and everything. So I think he's happy. I know that he's eating the food that he ate when he was little and having a little bit of a nostalgia trip, so that's really nice. I had the same thing when I came back to Sweden. Yeah, he's already applied for a lot of things from Sweden, but he's looking for positions within cybersecurity, conference and sort of tech analyst sector. I put out an Instagram post and I've had a couple of friends message me back, so I really appreciate that. I've got a close friend who I did law with who is an intern at a company that has positions to do with cybersecurity, so that's cool. And I'm also looking at tickets to visit. It would be really fun to see her again, and another really good friend from New Zealand is coming to Europe in September, so it would be nice to have her at my mum's place and maybe visit Richard in London if he's still there. Just trying to plan a few little trips and visits. But yeah, it was super sweet of Sophia and Tim to send Richard off and come say goodbye to him, and then they offered to have me come and stay for a few days after he left, and I think that's always nice with a little bit of a change of scene when you've had a big change happen, so I've really enjoyed being here. We are going to a ceramics class tonight, so I'm going to be maybe throwing some pottery, or I know Sophia's made a lot of little figurines with air dry clay, so I'm not sure if it'll just be air dry or coiling, or if you can actually do some throwing on a wheel, but we're going to be doing that later today, and I haven't done any pottery in ages, so I'm really looking forward to it. Tim and her are just at their college at the moment, and I've just been here during the day doing computer stuff and applying for different things while they have been at school. I did the big sister thing of tidying her kitchen when I first got here. I don't know, I just can't sit still sometimes, so I was just the kitchen needs a bit of a clean, why not just do the dishes for her and that will be helpful. So, but it's looking nice and organised, and it's just nice to be able to contribute somehow. I've been playing board games in the evening. There's a really fun one that I would recommend if you haven't played this board game and you like game nights and things, is Ticket to Ride. And you have to build train routes to certain places. The one we have is the Northern Lights edition. You are just trying to build train tracks, and you can disrupt someone else's route if you build near their tracks, or you get a certain number of bonus points for the most routes to capital cities or having the most blue train cards. And yeah, it's a really strategic and fun game, but there's also a few unexpected elements in it to make it exciting. It's kind of like Monopoly, how you have to strategize a bit, but it's not as long and time consuming, so we've been really enjoying that. I might add a little montage at the end of the video showing what we got up to. First we went to the Botanic Gardens, which is just across the road from the train station. There's a canal there, and it's beautiful to walk along that canal and look at the buildings. So beautiful. And in the summertime you can hire boats that go in the shallow parts of the canal, so that's a really cute little date activity to do. I was thinking of maybe doing that sometime when Richard comes back here. All of the cherry blossoms and different trees were blossoming now that it's spring. And while we were at the Botanic Gardens, we went to what they call the Palm House. palms. Being spring as well, they had some roses that were blooming. They were just huge. You can smell it. It smelled really, really nice, but Mum's partner has a pollen allergy, so he had to go outside. It wasn't the best room for him. Beautiful, lots of different colours and sorts of roses, and they all smelled amazing. We also got really lucky with the weather. It was just a blue sky day most of the time, and then we had about an hour of hail, and that's when we ended up eating lunch, so we could escape the rain, which was really lucky. Richard ended up touching the cactuses, and I think he was trying to joke with us, but then he pricked himself, so a little cute statue. Baby on its hips. And although it's gorgeous weather, people were still wearing their jackets some of the time and taking them off. It's not super warm yet, but the grass is looking greener and some of the deciduous trees are starting to sprout little leaves, so that's definitely a good sign. Sophia and Tim were also really cute. They were just holding hands and walking through the gardens together. I was using my new motor as well, and it was so good. It still had 3 bars out of 4 at the end of the day, and I've been all around the city. I've been on gravelly roads, I've been on cobblestone roads, managed to get through basically everywhere because my chair is quite slim. We went out the gates from the Botanic Gardens out onto like cobblestone pathway, and there's a little square opposite the theatre. Yeah, I was really pleased with how it worked. I don't think I could have done half of the amount of things that we did without it, and I still had energy at the end of the day and I was feeling good, so that was definitely a highlight. Some beautiful blooming trees there, and also a protest going on trying to speak out about the extinction of different types of rare animals. One thing I really loved about Gothenburg is with trams everywhere, and you can just jump on a tram. A lot of them line up with the pavement and are really accessible. Was a little bit difficult navigating crossing the roads sometimes with where the curb cuts were, and if people just like stopped really suddenly in front of me, or if people were on their mobile phones and like not looking where they were going. But most of the time the smart drive was really responsive and the speed dial, and I could just switch it on and off as I needed. Went all the way up, it's called Avenue, which I guess is like the avenue, to the art museum, and that day it was free entry for some reason, for some type of event. They have a ramp around the left side where there's like an entrance to a restaurant that's right next to the art museum. And then if you continue on from there, you can get to the main doors. There was a photographic exhibition by Anders Peterson. Some really interesting grungy photos. Some quite explicit subject matter that maybe won't make it onto YouTube, so I might not include those images here, but there were also some really nice artistic shots. Then we moved on to like a slightly more conventional exhibition, which was about sort of the new art or the modern art in Gothenburg. Charlotte Mannheimer was a renowned female artist during that time, and she painted some things of women that were quite beautiful. There are other examples of still lifes by her, but also of other artists around that same period, and sort of the new emerging modern art scene within Gothenburg during the 1800s. I really liked this painting of these dancers and the brush strokes and the texture. When you get up close to it, you really can see how he's used colour to create light and shadow. Sophia found a painting of a cat upstairs. She went straight to take a photo of that one. It's like the same breed of cat as Pippi, our little tuxedo cat. Really famous painting by a Danish painter, I believe. International Impressionists, like there's some Scandinavian ones, and some paintings by Picasso and Monet and various people. Some things from his pink period and his blue period. But I really enjoyed seeing the ink drawings by him. I went to an entire Picasso exhibition that just focused on ink drawings last time I was here in Sweden, and it was cool to see. It's just so interesting how art can be this tool of inspiration and beauty, but it can also do so much to capture just some of these darker, more complicated situations that people just don't want to think about and don't want to look at. So I love the form of Picasso's beautiful ladies. Alley or Avenue by Paul Cézanne. You could really see the wind in the trees with the direction of the brushstrokes that he painted. It felt like they were moving. He had some of Van Gogh's paintings of an olive orchard in Saint Remy. It's pretty cool. And I just love the little olives, the little dots he's painted all over the trees. More expressionistic paintings, and it was very cool to see some of the Scandinavian expressionists and their take on the Scandinavian landscape. I really enjoyed that section. And just the texture of some of the brushwork makes you want to touch the paintings, but obviously I never would. It still triggers me to this day when I like go into an art gallery and I'm not even working there and I see visitors getting like really close to the artwork and really close to the paintings, or like almost brushing up against things. I'm like, ah! Once a gallery assistant, always a gallery assistant, I think. This was really funny as well. We found this expressionistic picture and it looked like someone had just painted a beautiful landscape and then they managed to like screw up the cloud and then just like doodled all over it, or like their child found a painting and decided to make a little contribution. Well, this room upstairs as well houses some quite famous Swedish paintings. There was an artist, Carl Larsson, who is basically synonymous with the painting style and art that developed in Sweden. He inspired a lot of other painters and he set up a studio in that exhibition hall, and they still have the setup as it was in his painting there today. Then we happened upon another protest. A lot of people wearing keffé, which is always a good sight to see. And we went past some university buildings for the University of Gothenburg, where I've been looking at a few courses, and it was just really nice to see that I'd be able to get out by the train station and then jump on a tram and go to uni quite easily. But the campus is spread out all along the city, and there's some beautiful walkways that you can walk to get to the different campus buildings. And then we finally came upon Haga, which is where I grew up. And my parents had a little apartment with me when I was a baby in one of these wooden buildings built in the 1600s. So that's actually what it says as my birthplace on my passport, is Haga. And later we moved to Majorna, which is another suburb of Gothenburg. Haga always feels like home. It's where we went to all the little Christmas markets when I was a kid, and it's just a really beautiful area with some nice shops and very cute cafes. We came upon the cherry blossoms as well down the road, and you can catch the tram there. Also this bakery that's famous for their like massive cookies and buns. They've got like cinnamon buns the size of your face. Cafe Husaden. You can sit outside on a sunny day and try to make sure that the pigeons don't steal any of your food. Cool, well I am so thankful that I can share this update with you and just share what's going on in my mind and how things are going and how I'm feeling, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna end off on this little montage and I hope you enjoy it. Sophia was getting a little bit tired and dizzy at the end of the day after lots of walking, so I offered for her to sit on my lap, but she was slightly too big and I couldn't see where I was going, so it didn't last too long.